Hello students, my name is teacher Javiera Barros and today we are going to analyze and practice the uses and formats of future will. If you remember during our last tasks, you were able to analyze and do activities with future going to. But in this lesson, we're going to analyze a future will. To start, let's talk about a little bit about future will. We use future will for making predictions about the future. Now let's talk about the uses. We use future will for. First of all, we can use it to make an offer. For example, I will give you a ride. You can express I can give you a ride or I will give you a ride to Madam Wise. For future plans, we can use the future will with future plans. I'll be at Madame Wise at 1. Then we can use the future will for spontaneous decisions. Come on, I'll help you with your plans. Or we can use future will for promises or intentions. I will do it tomorrow. To make an offer, let's review all the uses of future will. To make an offer, we can say, I will cook for today's meal. For future plans, I will have to go to Santiago when the quarantine is over. For spontaneous decisions is a decision you make in the time you're speaking. For example, we're talking and I say, oh, I need some help for moving out my house. Okay, I'll help you. I can help you or I'll help you with your moving in. Or we can use with promises or intentions. I will do it tomorrow. I will do the homework on Monday. I will do the homework at the time I receive my homework. And in that way you can have different uses of future will. Now let's talk about the statements. First, let's go with positive or affirmative statements. We have the different subjects. I, he, she, it, we, you, they. Remember that the subjects also can be names. For example, he, Pablo, she, Javiera, it, a table, a cat, a dog. We, then we use that's the same pronoun. Or you, we can replace it with a name. So remember that the subject is not only the pronoun. Here I put the pronoun because it's the general way to talk about persons or people. So we have the subject. Then for create an affirmative statement, first we have to put the subject. Then we use will. Will can be used with any kind of subject. For example, let's make a comparison. For example, if we are in present simple, we use with I, you, we, they, we use do, and with he, she, it, we use does. Or with I, you, we, they, we use have, and with he, she, it, we use has. And by that, but in future we don't have that difference. We use the same, we use will for all the subjects. And after will, we use the verb in the base form. Subject, will, verb in base form. I will leave soon. He will leave soon. She will leave soon. It will leave soon. We, you, they will leave soon. Then we have negative statements. Here we have I have two sentences. You will not finish the workshops in one day. She won't leave her house soon. That won't is called a contraction. That is a way to make shorter the will not. For example, you won't finish the workshops in one day, or she will not leave her house soon. That won't is will not, and is called a contraction. The same thing happens with I will, with the things up here. She will or I will, we can make it shorter and we say I'll, or we say she'll, or we say he'll, they'll, will. It's a way to make the statement a little bit shorter. Remember, that is called a contraction. I will, I'll, will not, won't. That's the negative contraction. Then we have questions. How can we create questions with future will? Here we have two types of questions: yes or no questions and WH questions. Yes or no questions. We have to put the will first, then the subject, and then the base form. Will she leave soon? And the answer is yes, she will. No, she won't. Or no, she will not. Yes, she'll. No, she won't. And with WH questions, that is when, where, who, among others, we have to write first the WH word, then the future will, then subject, and then the base form. When will she leave? When will he arrive? And here we have some examples. I won't be home tomorrow night. I will not be home tomorrow night. Remember the contraction. She will be home tomorrow night. And with the contraction, it will say she'll be home tomorrow night. Then the questions. Will you be at home tomorrow night? When will they be at home? And that's the way you create different statements and sentences with future will. Now let's go to the practice part. Now let's do some little practice with the things we have talked about. Let's see. Here we have some sentences that we have to complete with will. Remember, will and the verb in the base form or infinitive. Remember that base form of the verb is the same that talk about infinitive form. They, remember, first go the subject, then will, and then the verb in base form. They will be back by 6:30 p.m. Then yes or no question. Will you, subject, will, subject, and base form of the verb. Will you help me? WH question. When will I see you again? Statement. Statement with a negative statement. His parent won't punish him for being late. Here we have a question. Will they sign the contract tonight? It will take us 3 hours to get there. Will this concert raise money for our school club? Remember that what I said before, that the subject can be replaced by a pronoun or by something. For example, in this case, we have this concert, that is an it. Will this concert raise money for our school club? This van won't break down with 8 people in it. The meeting won't close before tomorrow night. When will she send me a copy for her essay? Now let's check. We have 10 out of 10. Perfect. Woo. They will be back. Will you help me? When will I see you? His parents won't punish him. Will they sign the contract tonight? I will take us 3 hours to get there. Will this concert raise money for our school club? This van won't break down with 8 people in it. The meeting won't close before tomorrow morning. When will she send me a copy for her essay? In our last video, I told you that for practicing, if you want to practice about a tense, because this is a tense in English, you have to put in Google, for example, a future will exercise. And for example, here I have some other exercises. Future simple, will affirmative, affirmative forms, interrogative affirmative forms, yes or no will, positive, negative questions. And then we have different kinds of activities and exercises you can use to practice future will. And here in Google, we have also different pages where you can go to practice. Will versus going to, simple future exercise, future will exercises, and then you have different kinds of exercises if you want to practice. To conclude, in this video, we talked about making predictions about the future using the tense will, future will. We talked about the different uses that future will have, how to create different statements, positive, negative, and how to create questions, 2 kinds of questions, yes or no questions and WH questions, like when, where, or who. And after that, we did a little bit of practice applying all these type of statements we did. And remember the contractions. Don't forget the contractions that are, for example, want or I'll or she'll, in which you have to put an apostrophe to create these contractions. Thank you for watching this video, and let's see in another task.